Hello and welcome to an episode of the British Bears Show. This is a British Bears Show and we like to give the Chicago Bears coverage a bit of a British accent. And also as well that we'd love to have people on as guests who are from Britain to talk through the games and how they got into the Chicago Bears. But it's been a bit of a shitty 24 hours to be a Bears fan, hasn't it, Jason? How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, welcome to therapy. I'm just about recovered from that shock on Sunday. But yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm just, rolling on. Just the usual stuff following the Bears, isn't it? But yeah, let's go. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, it took me all day yesterday to get over it, really. I couldn't watch any other sort of football at all until today. So I'm managing to sort of catch up on the other NFL games. But anything to do with American football just pissed me off yesterday. Totally. But yeah, we'll get into the game if we can bear our souls and go through all this fucking nightmare. But yeah, let's start off the trauma, man. Yeah, I mean, before the game, you had there, Jason.
Yeah.
But we'll start off like we always do with the offense, man. Yeah, it wasn't good, was it? Really? Caleb struggled for a good 15 minutes of that game. I mean, it was understandable because he was getting absolutely no protection from the offensive line, which got worse when we had all them injuries with Jenkins and they brought in the rookie, and then Bill Murray went down. Apparently, he's been put on IR, so he's going to be out for a bit. But yeah, I just. Caleb just didn't look in the game at all. He just either trying too hard or I don't know, man. I can remember like seeing some footage on the sideline. He just didn't look right. He looked a bit ill to me. Like, if he had like a flu or something, but that could just be me. Hey, Brummy Bear, man. Good to see you, mate. I'm glad you joined us. But yeah, I mean, I suppose the only sort of shining grace for the offense was the running back. Swift, I mean, he got 129 yards on 18 carries. So I suppose he like the highlight of the offense through the game. But what were your thoughts about the offense, Jason?
Yeah, exactly. As you said, Swift. This is the problem for him, isn't it? He's going to get his great game will be buried amongst everything else. But he provided a real highlight with the hurdle, didn't he? That was awesome. Great sporting moment. That was awesome. That was a squeal, wasn't it? That one. He was like, leaping over that guy. Yeah, the offense, man. Gee whiz. After all the excitement of 3 games, and we knew it was a test, didn't we? And we said, it was going to be the toughest game we played. Some were saying it was going to be a statement game, which I didn't realize that statement was going to be bollocks. It was awful, wasn't it? 51.6% pressured, 20 of 36 dropbacks. The O-line was just like bloody Swiss cheese, wasn't it, man? It's just, it's like we went backwards. And I agree with Caleb, like you said, the first game when he was missing those throws, it was back to that again, wasn't it? And there, I think maybe a big deal was made of his homecoming. That's his hometown, isn't it? He went back to where he grew up. And I know the famous thing, he says he doesn't get nervous, but he was missing those overthrows like he was too hyped up again. Maybe that's the same thing. He just seems to have this. He gets all kind of like hyped and then just.
Do you think they were like more hyped up due to the Jaden Daniels? Sort of competitiveness, if you know what I mean. Like, obviously, Caleb was number 1 in the draft and Daniels was number 2. So I wonder if that were sort of playing in mind. Because, I mean, that's how the sort of narrative regarding the game was really about the 2 quarterbacks. But, my God, man. I mean, even if you look at the receivers, I mean, Roma Dunze, he got 3 receptions, 41 yards. He was the leading receiver. Kalen Allen got 39 yards and 2 receptions. Cole Kmet he only got 1 reception.
Yeah.
And also DJ Moore only got 2 receptions for 27 yards. And I just to me, what's with the offense, it just seems to be like really out of tempo. Do you know, like, and also as well, they sort of got away from the quick tempo offense, which I really like and which I think really suits Caleb. And I think some of the offensive play calling was rather dodgy as well, especially near the goal line.
We're going to talk about that, aren't we? We said we mentioned the coaching at the end as its own separate unit because it deserves its own segment this week from what we saw. Cole Kmet and Swift should have been his safety blankets, his outs from all that pressure, and we just didn't seem to use them. Yes, I'm surprised he got so little action, Cole. The fullback, Carl says, but kind of very little of him. Saw nothing of him, did we? And to be fair, Caleb spent a lot of the time running for his bloody life, but we just didn't appear until the bloody fourth quarter, did it? The offense, it was dreadful. I feel sorry for DJ Moore getting himself banged up. The offensive line, like I say, 3 players out. We thought we wanted to see. We talked about before. Let's see what Kiran can do at tackle. And oh my God, he had a baptism of fire, didn't he? It was just he struggled to get to the pace of the game quickly. He got absolutely just reamed, didn't he, on the first few plays? But to his credit, he made a big block on the Swift touchdown run.
That's right. Yeah.
In pass protection, whoa! Welcome to the NFL, young man. That was brutal.
He could tell he's a guy who didn't have any preseason at all, any training camp or anything. He looks like the physical aspect of him looks really good, but you tell he's just not had the practice time, the reps, and we were sort of desperate, weren't we? Really, we were that desperate. I thought Davis was going to come on.
Well, maybe next week. Depends how these injuries go on the O-line, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I think the trade deadline is pretty soonish. So, I don't know, if they're thinking about bringing, some more offensive line bodies in, because Jenkins, he went off injured, came back and then got re-injured. Like I say, Bill Murray's on IR. Did Bates play at all on Sunday?
No, Bates has not been. He's not been. I think he's eligible to be activated off of IR, isn't he? But he hasn't been done so yet.
Right.
Excuse me. I think they did with Borum. So he's eligible to join in. And then who else? Yeah, that's it. I think, isn't it, in terms of standings? Yeah, but those are the two that are due to come back in. So there's a couple of comments here about Antmas has said, and I agree. Foster's put that one up. Sorry, I'll do that one first. Carl has said, Antmas, Caleb Williams engineered a fourth quarter comeback and won the game from his standpoint. Absolutely. We're going to talk about the defense. But that was tragic. But nice having a quarterback able to play and give us a chance to win it in the fourth. So in the fourth quarter, Caleb, the last 2 drives, Caleb was 6 completions of 8 attempts for 95 yards and just drove down the field twice. And that is what was really important. I saw a stat. I'm going to use it later. I'll save it for later. But essentially, you want a quarterback that's going to... We all talked about the last one, saying that he was in the fourth quarter, he was terrible. No good in the clutch. But Caleb, through that awful game, when it started to matter, he managed to lift it. Whatever it was that was going on, managed to lift himself and the team and drive down the field 3 times in the end, obviously notwithstanding the fumble, to put this team within seconds of winning that game after playing that badly. So, despite all this crazy stuff going on now, is we've got our quarterback. We just need to get some other stuff sorted out quite drastically. But I'm not worried about him at all now. We need to sort the rest of that. Go on, mate. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that the most annoying thing, though, is like every fucking game this season, we start off really slow on offense. And it's got to the point where we didn't really do any offense to the fourth quarter. Look like in the previous couple of games, we started, getting rolling on the offensive side by the end of the first quarter and the second. But, at least, like you said, he's a fighter, man. He's a fighter, Williams is. And that shows to me, like that shows a lot of character, but it shows that he's a winner. He didn't give up. He didn't give in. He knew that he was having a terrible game, and he knew that the opposition's quarterback's going to get all the plaudits and after the game. And he did bring the team back, and we didn't really. If it hadn't happened like it did do, how we lost, then we didn't really deserve to win that game, did we? Really? Because we didn't play well. We didn't, on offense anyway, we played terribly. So we didn't really deserve to win it on offense. But
I don't really agree with that kind of. People talk about this kind of argument about they deserve to win or whatever. You took the lead with 25 seconds to go, having played rubbish throughout 50 minutes. So you dragged your ass back into the game. Your defense has kept you in it. The defense is what we're going to talk about. Were lights out, until the end. It's like one play changed the whole complexion of this conversation around this. So I've never buy the sort of we deserved or whatever, because there's a whole series of events. Like people are talking about the last play, aren't they? Obviously, but there's a whole series of other things that make a difference in the lead up to that. So I'd say almost like you could say we did deserve to win it as much as Washington. They were in the red zone 3 times and came away with 3 field goals. So our defense did its job, and we gave us offense a chance to go up the field and win it. Another a chance to go and win it, and they put themselves in front with seconds to go. So it's a Hail Mary is a roll of the dice that rarely works, and sometimes that's why everyone goes nuts, is because they work so few. But it's the only thing you can try in that situation. And fair play to the neutrals watching it; they're probably going nuts and saying, "What an awesome finish!" But ultimately, we were that close to winning against a reasonable team. So
I like that angle. Though. I like the way you look at that. That's a really good angle to look at it, Jason. Because I sort of think that way as well. But when you sort of read what people are saying on social media and what some of the pundits are saying on TV, you sort of get sucked into that sort of narrative. But that what you just said makes complete sense to me, and it's right. Do you know what I mean? It don't really matter how you get there. If you get a win, you get a win. You know what I mean? It's not like how many yards you need to get on offense. If you score more than them, you're going to win the game. Who gives a shit if if you don't get 300 yards passing or whatever. But anything else you want to talk about the offense about?
No, I think that time I really don't. I think the end. It was crap, wasn't it? That's what we need to say. It was. I mean, apart from Swift had an awesome game, and you feel bad for him having done that. What he did. So good teams win these games. Regs took the win away. Was that 3? Oh, ref. Sorry, yeah. I was going to talk about that. And the thing is, I'm every 3 or 4 times every game. I'm shouting at the screen. That's a hold. That's a hold. They seem to decide. I'll call someone, and I'll call won't. It's just Plank's with us, man. Hey, Plank, good to see you, buddy. He's always in there. He's always watching, but maybe not all that. Not live. But it's good to see you here for a live one, mate. Welcome. But yeah, it's Swift. What was I saying? I can't remember. It threw me off. I was so pleased to see Plank. But yeah, he had a good game, didn't he? So and it's a shame for him that he'll get lost in amongst all this nonsense. But they were pretty bad in terms of let's say we'll talk about coaching later, but there's some questionable play calls. The referees, that was it. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, it was not only was like and again, I've looked on a bit of social media. I don't use much of it, but the one I do, people are saying, get over it. They never call holds on Hail Marys, or it's just, well, that's not the point. I gave up watching soccer because I got fed up with referees that applied the law sometimes, but not others. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah. The law's the law. The rules are the rules. They just apply them regardless. So, yeah, that really grips my shit that they say there was the hold. There was what looked like probably a block in the back as well, wasn't there? Because after the hold and Jaden spun around back to the left, the defender was closing him down, and decided, at least blindsided or from the back. So I don't know. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, because as a referee, we know they're just a bit rubbish, aren't they? Sometimes you get stuff, sometimes you don't. I think there were many other chances before that to make that not an issue, which we're going to talk about. Oh, yeah,
certainly, mate. Certainly. I mean, I think I heard that the Bears have actually sort of made some sort of official complaint to the NFL regarding the last play and the non-holding penalties, what didn't get called. But I mean, what difference is it going to make? The game's done. We've lost the game, so what's the point?
We're going to get them all back in and make them do that last play again. Yeah, that's not going to happen, is it? It makes no difference, does it? So,
well, let's move on to something a bit more positive. Let's move on to the Bears defense, man. The Bears defense, apart from right at the end, played awesome. Do you know what I mean? We kept them under 20 points. We kept up the field goals for the majority of the game. To say that we had so many defensive backs out, that we still managed to play not too bad in defensive backfield. I thought Edwards had quite a good game. He had 5 tackles. We won assists, and he got a sack, and also got a sack as well. But we did. The thing what got me of our defense, though, they seem to have got a lot of yardage, sort of throwing sort of slants, sort of hitting the middle of where the zone is. So sort of like, passes that are about 20 yards. We seem to have been really open in the middle of the field. Well, and that seemed to sort of, they got a lot of yardage doing that.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Brommy Bears comment.
I feel Brooks happy with the coaching somehow.
You think? Oh, it's very subtle, yeah. But yeah, we'll talk about coaching later at the end, won't we? But yeah, oh my goodness, oh my days.
But what are your thoughts about the D?
Yeah, again, they're just brilliant, aren't they? They are really good. Well, I was a little bit disappointed because we knew the Commanders were a run-heavy team. They run the ball a lot, and they had 68 yards rushing on the ground at a 5.3 average, and that's around their average sort of performance in rushing yards for a game. So we didn't really hold them down from their average. So a bit of a shame. I mean, Robinson was a threat. Brian Robinson, their running back, but he only got 65 yards. Yeah, Eckler had 52, and Daniels had 52 himself. So you can say that actually we could have done it better on that, but they averaged over 31 points a game going into Sunday, and we held them to their lowest score of the season. Kept them out the end zone until the last minute, like say 3 visits to the red zone, no touchdowns. The Bears defense is number 1 in red zone touchdowns. So
I can imagine,
with 2 major starters out, it was a good performance, and we got good depth in the secondary, haven't we? So I do think this kind of showed. I like Josh Blackwell. I like what he brings to the team, but we miss Kyler Gordon, don't we? That shows what a big difference maker he is in the nickel there. Love him, man.
Yeah, I remember the tailgate show before the game on Sunday, and that was like one of my big concerns with Gordon not playing, because he's probably like he could be one of the defensive players of the year for the Bears.
Yeah, definitely agree with Matty there. Sorry, mate. Yeah. We helped. Go on. Sorry.
Especially on the nickel blitzes, especially, he seems to get into the opposition's backfield a lot and gets their quarterback and the running backs. For a defensive back, he's got a really good, he's a really good tackler, and a lot of them are. But sorry, Jason, what were you going to say, mate?
I just wanted to respond to Matty for Cheesy's comment. He says we held Washington to 12 points with 2 main starters out. Imagine if Brisker and Gordon had played. And I agree. Yeah, we could have even better. So you got to like the depth. You're going to get injuries, and I agree with him as well. Area says they can have yards, points matter, and that's it. It's the bend don't break thing, isn't it? So yeah, we let them get down the field, but as soon as you get in the red zone, you shall not pass. It's pretty awesome, our red zone defense. So and that's Brommy Bear. I agree. This is what concerns me now as we go forward: is we're in danger of wasting this talent in defense. It looks like another year going by where they perform miracles, only to be denied wins because of a poor offensive coaching staff. And couldn't agree more. That's what I worry about, is that we need to make the most of this window we've got with this defense, because they're playing lights out, man.
And that is one of the annoying things regarding the Bears, is that we never seem to get both units playing well at the same time. It's always one or the other, isn't it? We never like what we were praising the Bears before this game, of that a lot of the victories were complete team victories. Both the D and the offense played absolutely awesome, and you can tell that the D is definitely the strength of the team as usual. But it's been not great defense, isn't it? Basically, that's what the Bears do, and like you say, as soon as they get into that red zone, man, we just shut them down. It's just a shame how. I know we spoke about the offense, but the offense just felt like very much like the offense from like week 1 and 2 as well.
This one as well, mate. This is again the same with Carl. It's agreed. That's why I'm not panicking like some of the people on social media. It's like Carl says it'd be silly to have not expected growing pains with the rookie QB, and that's what we saw on Sunday. It was. Because I do think if I had to try and guess, I think it was like the first game where he was so hyped up. I mean, he says he don't get nervous, but he's a human being, and he's living his dream out now. He's got to it's in the NFL. It's game number 7, going back to his hometown. To me, that showed signs of those early games when he was just missing throws that you would expect him now. But we've seen him over the last 5 weeks after those first games. He was making them, wasn't he? So he regressed a bit, but this is normal. It's like it's a rookie QB. Halfway through his first season.
I mean, the only people that does worry is that
nobody points a finger at Kelly Williams. He's better. Maybe. I can't, agree or disagree. That's the kind of.
I don't agree with that one. To be honest with you.
Yeah. So,
I mean, the only thing
there was a whole load of issues about this. Obviously, we've talked about partly, already. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the defense now, aren't we? So, we might as well mention the last play, man. That last play. So, Jesus Christ! And the thing is, a lot of this is really important because it matters from the perspective of the whole drive and the play before it, where they gave them the sidelines. It's like, what are you doing? It's so obvious. It's so obvious. They had seconds left. Was it like 5 seconds or something? Yeah. And they just leave the whole of the middle of the field sidelines open. You just
and the worst
line up the sidelines. He's not going to throw it in the end zone from there. Just don't let him get out of bounds. You stop him getting out of bounds, the game is over when they've got no timeouts. So what the hell was he doing?
And the worrying thing, Jason, is I was watching some interviews with Eberflush yesterday, and he was sort of saying, "Oh, well, that play before their touchdown didn't really matter." And just what you said, it could have been able to throw from like 70 yards instead of 50 something. Do you know what I mean? And you're the defensive coach, and also as well, why did you call? Oh, we'll go on to the coaching actually. Should we go on to the coach?
Shall we do it? Go on then. Let's just do it now. Screw it. Let's go. Yes, right. Yeah.
Do it, man, because that's another hot topic in the social media world of all these people jumping off cliffs and stuff. But we'll stick to that last drive because that really worried me is the call, the defensive call where we weren't protecting the sidelines, and then we had the almighty Stevenson giving it loads to the crowd. The fucking last play starts, and there's about 4 seconds of him with his back to the fucking play. Why did he call timeout? Why did he call timeout? And also sorry, Jason, go on, mate. I was going to say, why did he call timeout and get a bit more of a hands unit in? Maybe get Cole Kmet in there. Get Keenan Allen in there. People have got good hands. And also as well, with Stevenson acting like he did, he wasn't even marking his guy, and that was a guy what caught the touchdown. We had nobody in the to the middle or the back of the end zone to stop that tip. If the tip goes backwards, there should have been somebody there who to stop their wide receivers catching the ball. And that to me really fucking pissed me off, man. Really pissed me off. That pissed me off as much as Waldron calling the handoff to the fucking offensive lineman who's never took a handoff in his life. All right, they might have repped it, but you only do that when you're like 20, 30 points in the lead. In the lead. When the Bears when it were all the fridge days, they only used the fridge when they were miles in front, not when they were chasing a really tight game. And I think Waldron got a little bit too cute and a little bit too clever in that play call, where we could have just given it to Johnson, who's great at just getting them, short touchdown runs. So what are your thoughts, man, about that disastrous coaching at the end?
Oh yeah, well, there's all of them, isn't there? From the 4th and inches to throwing it out wide to DJ on an island on his own, And I know that you put the ball in the hands of your playmakers and you expect to get them to make a play, right? But that's ridiculous. You got an opportunity for a pick on that play. You've got an opportunity for him to drop the ball. You've got an opportunity as they did make the play. And I get it. Look, I know that sometimes if they'll try something cute, something different, something clever, and very often the fans will react like if it works, they're a genius. If it fails, they're an idiot. So
that's right.
What I think they should be doing though is this. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but what I mean is if they see you're playing the percentage plays, like in 4th and inches, you do a quarterback sneak, you do the tush push, you do. Yeah, exactly, Brummy Bear as well. That play stopped the clock as well. So that's the one for the fade I'm talking about. Yeah, I was going to mention that. When we for goal line, get to the goal line, we're up, time's running out, and he throws the fade pass out and they stop the clock. If you're on the goal, if you've got a first down and on the goal line, you just do 4 runs up the gut. Because at least people know then or maybe something different if the first 2 or 3 don't work. I don't know, but you don't just try stupid stuff there. You've got to keep the basics right, because you know that if you get the push, you've got the timings of the when the call is going, the play's going. So you got the advantage to get the pack moving. So we know we've done it with Kramer in the back. So why they try then to? It's how they got the interception in London, isn't it? The Jags, is they tried to get cute with the Kramer in as the fullback play, which they thought, we think we're going to do this, but let's mess it about, and he underthrew it. So if you're going to do that, when signaling it, but they can't stop it, can you? You get a big guy like Kramer getting ahead of steam, clear it out. Roshan Johnson barrels through and he got a touchdown. So,
that's really bad.
Those
I mean, I'm just going to say, Jason, that to me is really bad situational coaching, because when you're in a tight game like that, the clock is so important. Totally. You want to try and score with the least amount of time left on the clock, and that's like simplistic fucking football, man. It's not fucking rocket science, and that really fucking disappointed me, man. Really disappointed me. Anything else about the coach? What pissed you off?
On the 3rd and 5, when it was designed, I don't know if it was a design quarterback run up the middle or it was an option that Caleb chose to keep it. But that 3rd and 5, when he tried to run through the middle, I didn't think that was a great decision, whether that's on Caleb or whether that's on the coaching. The other big one for me was I was screaming at the TV, was challenge. That play in the pass to McLaurin, which I thought, that's it, the ground that has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And the giveaway is the Washington offense is running to the line of scrimmage to get the next play started, because they know, like I fucking knew, that the ball had probably hit the floor. Because that's your giveaway, isn't it? When their offense are going, well, we need to get the next play underway, quick, let's go. You think that's because they know they dropped it. And when you saw the replay, the ball hit him in the hands and touched the floor and would have been an incompletion. So why not? This that kind of like, I'm not one for, getting rid of the coaches immediately or these things. I'm a more patient, kind of loyal fan. I get it. There's pros and cons to changing coaches throughout the season or whatever. And we know traditionally the Bears don't change coaches halfway through the year. But I think, especially with the accountability and the things I've seen in the press afterwards, there's too many little things now building up that I'm losing my faith in the head coach. Is the game management. That's what makes a difference. When you get to those clutch situations, your players have got you back in a situation where the game is on the line now, rather than you've been 12 points down and been playing like dog shit on offense, and you suddenly clawed your way back. And those things now make a difference. All those little things make a difference, like throwing that challenge flag and getting them going backwards, like the calling the timeout just to get the guys settled. Because I heard JJ was saying, Johnson was in the press, and again, this is something that concerns me, is that there's been 4 players I've heard of that have been speaking after the game, which are maybe indicating that something's not quite so happy in the locker room. So Komet was doing it, wasn't he? He said about some people are loafing in training. JJ was on the train. Pardon?
Yeah, I mean, Komet was sort of saying that there's, he was sort of more or less spouting that, there's players with bad attitudes, out playing professional. Which
JJ. Go on, mate. JJ said that there was like chaos at that before the Hail Mary. It's like people who were saying, didn't know what was going on. Call the fucking timeout. It's like there's one play left, and you got 3. I know exactly. You don't get a prize for keeping them till the end. Use it. Get you guys ready. Think about your plan. Like I say, perhaps, and I put that as well, is perhaps get your hands team in, if you like. The guys that are good at contested catches, Komet, Odunze, the guys that are tall and rangy and can get up there and get that ball, whatever it may be, because that's what's going to happen. You've got to try and reach for that ball. And it was also criminal that, like you say, that apparently it was Hicks who was supposed to be on that guy in the end zone, because the safety's meant to be the one that's deepest covering the guy. Yep. And because when the ball's tipped, pass interference is no longer an issue. So you can just box him out. You can get into him. If you see that ball, you can just wipe him out, basically, pretty much. You haven't got to worry about pass interference. So that was just totally messed up play, because he didn't have the wherewithal to just stop the game, take his time out, get everyone settled down. Right, this is what's coming. And as for the fucking, as for a spy, as for putting a spy on the backfield, on the Hail Mary, what the actual fuck? Just seriously.
The worst is, Jason, he's made blunders like this throughout the last 2.5 years, hasn't he? He's made decisions what have cost us game late in the game. So it's not new, and it's also stuff like in particular that complicated. We all know it. We figured it out. Where there's some two guys from England. We're not in the NFL, but we could see that. I was shouting, call time out, man. Call time out. You know what I mean? And like Eberfluss, he just doesn't. I just feel like everybody's a little bit too nicey at the Bears. Nobody seems to be like being taken, nobody's sort of being asked to take responsibility about anything. You know what I mean? Like Eberfluss just go, look, I fucked up. You know what I mean? But like, none of the players seem to taking responsibility for the action. I even watched a bit of Stevenson's like press conference, and how he were talking to me, like, are you really sort of taking this on? Are you really taking that responsibility? You know what I mean? Just to turn and all that sort of thing. But I mean, the Bears are not going to get rid of him through the season. The Bears just don't do that. And I really think that, like, the next sort of, well, from now to the end of the season, that's what's going to show us what sort of coaching they are. Because they've got to respond on Sunday. How are they going to respond against Cardinals? And then we've got the Cardinals and the Patriots, which are two very winnable games. And then we start hitting the hard slot. And to me, how he coaches and how the team performs until the end of the season, then that, if we sort of lose the next 3-4 games and we just slide down, then it probably is time to move on next year. But I think really people have got to wait to see how the season finishes before they start asking people to get, to sack the coaches, because it could turn it around. We could come out on Sunday against Cardinals really angry and really, everybody's on the ball, and we could be playing like we did against the Jags, and we could get it going again. This is going to be the most interesting part of the season, I think.
Whoa! Hang on a moment here.
Really? I've not heard
Booker
that.
World. As in Kyler Murray, the Cardinals QB. Is that what you're saying?
I watched the game this afternoon. There, the highlight. Well, I watched the 40 minutes of their game against the Dolphins, and he didn't go off injured or anything, and he didn't look like he got hurt.
Okay. Sorry, Bill Murray. There you go. Bill Murray. Okay, that's better.
Booker, man, don't do that to us, brother.
Booker, yeah, thanks, man. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, good info. Yeah, I think is it a pec or a clavicle? He was in. Yeah, he came in, didn't he, at guard after Tevin went out for the second time, and then he lost about 3 plays and went off holding his bugger, man. So I think, where is he? Matty Ficchese put it here. You got to start calling bad teams about any and all decent O-line players. I think I agree with that. I would, if we could just get one proper solid pro, high level, whatever it costs.
You should think about it.
Look, my bad, and yours should have been clearer. Yeah, that's fine. No worries, brother. Everything's a good time or a great story, but yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, though, as well, is what the hell are we going to do with the offensive line for this Sunday? Because, like, Braxton Jones is probably going to be out for a couple of weeks to say, so we're going to start the rookie from Yale. What about Tevin? I'm not too sure about the extent of his injury. I don't know if you've heard anything, Jason. I haven't heard anything now. Get injured as well now, so the offensive line is going to be
potentially the offensive line is going to consist of Kirana Magaji at left tackle, and then a mix of Borum, Bates, and Davis. Nate Davis could be back, so that could be our internal O-line. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Tev went with a knee, didn't he, to start with? Came back in. Hang on. Here comes Foster.
Breaking news.
Come on,
breaking news.
The Chicago Bears have signed offensive lineman Austin Pleasance. The 6'7" Pleasance played his college ball at Ohio University in Athens. Caught on with the Jacksonville Jaguars, an undrafted free agent in 2020. Spent most of his year on the practice squad. Was released. Joined the Panthers practice squad. Earned an active roster spot in 2021. Signed a future contract with Carolina in 2022, but was waived at the start of the season. He was signed by the Los Angeles Chargers in November of 2022, where he signed another contract in 2023. He's got 2 regular season starts. This is the guy they're bringing in. This just came over on.
Foster, okay. You just said it's only started twice. Is that what you just said?
What?
Did you just say that it's only started 2 games?
Yes.
What the fuck?
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying,
what the
it's
fuck, mate?
somebody.
I know we need bodies, mate, but what's the fucking point of getting somebody who's just a fucking more or less a cat body? What the fuck, man?
Was that a trade, or we signed him off waivers or something?
Must have been something. It must have been off waivers, surely.
I mean, this just happened. This just happened 20 minutes ago. So I don't. I only have.
All right, he's signed to the practice squad.
Oh, I'm sure of that. He's got to go right to the practice squad.
It means you can flex him on game day, doesn't it? But okay, so he's not. If he's on the practice squad, he must be a free agent. Yeah.
I just thought I'd tell you because it's like I said, it's 15, 20 minutes old, man.
Mate, that's what you're there for, mate. You're the man on the beat. You're the man on the beat, mate.
Show for your breaking news.
And the man who is beat to death.
So, any more you want to say about the coaching, or shall we move on to Jason's?
Where are we? The challenge, the sidelines, getting the players in. The spy on the bloody Hail Mary was fucking ridiculous. Because he's not going to, the whole point that you're defending the goal line or you're getting pressure, aren't you? That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You just wasted a player. You just basically gone out with 10 players. You should have just got after him because, gee whiz, that's just, I'm reliving the trauma again. I think accountability as well, with these sort of rumours and stuff coming out of the locker room now. Not the challenge, the fade pass, the Kramer thing. It's just, we've covered it all. I think it's all just stupid. The coaching as well, in terms of the discipline we've had. There was 8 penalties in the game, wasn't there, for 60 yards, which was pretty poor.
A lot of
penalties.
A lot of pre-snap penalties as well, which is bad. Let's
third down conversions. We were 2 of 12. That's the problem. Right. That was the problem. We knew we need to keep drives going. And then I think that's about it. 51% pressure. That's it. I'm sick of reading this shitty note. God damn it.
Let's cheer ourselves up with one of the highlights of his show is Jason's stat bomb.
Right, here we go, folks. This is why you come here. This is why you come here.
This is all the reason we're here, mate.
Exactly. So, can you remember what you were doing in September 1991? Doesn't matter.
I'll probably doing something a bit naughty.
We probably don't want to know where you're concerned.
You don't want to know what I was doing.
Basically, that was the last time the Washington. Yeah. Anyway, that was the last time Washington shut out the
Redskins.
So 33 years is the last time Washington had a shutout against their opposition, and it was they beat the Eagles 23-0. And the nearest competitor for their 33-year streak is the Jets and the Giants, who are 15 years away from a shutout. So they've got the record by a long, long way. Mad. Anyway, right, 12.6 seconds. Right, that's how long Daniels had the ball in his hand before he threw that Hail Mary pass. And since Next Gen Stats began in 2016, that is the longest time a quarterback has held the ball before throwing a touchdown.
Wow.
12.6 seconds.
Great stat.
Now I'm going to mention the Bears because that's what we're here. So Swift, he had a 56-yard touchdown run. This is the longest by a Bears player since 2022, which was obviously Justin Fields, but the longest by a Bears running back since December 2020, when David Montgomery took the opening play 80 yards against the Texans. He now has over 100 scrimmaging yards in 4 straight games and a touchdown in each of those games too. And that is this 56-yard touchdown run is tied for the 8th longest run in the NFL this season by anybody. So shout out, props to Swift, my man. He's in the goods. So we talked about our slow start. Again, we know that's a fact. We have now, our opponents have scored first in every game this season. So we're always behind. And we've also got we only scored 10 points in the first quarter in all 7 games so far this season. So slow starts. But what I did see on a podcast again, I can't remember what it was. It was Chicago Bears Breeze, something like that. Shout out to JC was the guy. Caleb's stats in the fourth quarter is 39 completions of 64 attempts, so 61% completion, 402 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. So we've got a quarterback who can, close a game out. Maybe if we can just sort the rest of it. But
they were 2/3 of the game.
Yeah, never mind that. Yeah, so and the Bears also, right, here we go. So talking about penalties, here we go. The Bears had their first defensive holding call of the season this weekend.
Right.
So I thought it's time I had a look at penalties. I did it last season, didn't I? I went deep dive into some penalty stats because we're getting a bit sick of those, aren't we? And we talked about it just now. So the Bears have 54 penalties so far. Now, again, I know some teams have played 7 games, some have played 8, but we've played 7. We've had 54 total penalties, and this includes ones that are declined or offsetting, which is the ninth lowest in the league in terms of giving away penalties, which is a surprise. Wow. However, the stat which will now confirm the eye test is that actually we've had 26 penalties in pre-snap penalties, which is the 3rd most in the NFL. So whilst we're not terrible at giving away penalties, we are bad at doing them before the snap. So we need to clean that up massively.
The players, that's a bit of a knock on the coaches and the players at the same time, isn't it? Really, I mean, Quebec went through a game where he had a couple of pre-snap penalties, and I mean that's just like lack of discipline and lack of concentration.
Concentration, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. And out of interest, I looked at the cards. Actually, they've given away 42 penalties this season, which is the 3rd lowest. So they're quite a clean football team coming up to the next game. So, that concludes this short segment of this week's Snapball.
Awesome. Good job, mate. A really good job, man. Right, we'll move on to the Arizona Cardinal game, man. What's coming up this Sunday? It's at their place. I mean, Arizona are a 500 team. I mean, they lost to the Bills. They beat the Rams quite handsomely, 41-10. They lost to the Lions, but only by a touchdown. They lost to Washington. Washington absolutely scored them. They got 42 points against them. But they did beat the 49ers, but I think that was when the 49ers, and they still are, quite ravaged with injuries. They lost to the Packers. Fuck the Packers. And also, but they beat the Chargers the following week, 17-15, and they beat the Dolphins last Sunday, 28-27. I mean, Kyler Murray, man, he's having a season, man. He's passed 1,638 passing yards, 11 touchdowns with only 3 interceptions, and his QB rating is 98. So he's having quite a good season. And their leading rusher, James Conner, he's had 129 attempts for 557 yards, and he's had four touchdowns. What are your sort of thoughts about their offense, Jason?
They've been kind of inconsistent, but they're dangerous, aren't they? Yeah. So, like you said, they won their last 2 games, which is the first time they've done that since October 21. Apparently, first time they've won 2 in a row. So they've had 2 players with 100 receiving yards in the last game, which is the first time since September 21. So they come into the game on a 2-game hot streak, but we know how flimsy those can be. So I think Book of World says the Bears are going to destroy Arizona. This is an all hands on deck game. I want to absolutely. I want to see a reaction this weekend coming, and I'm quite pleased we got. We're just straight into another one. Imagine going into a bye week. We got a chance to put this straight pretty quickly. Interestingly enough, actually, like I say, Kyler Murray. And here's some interesting facts on them guys. Is that he hasn't been sacked since week 5. So he's good on the move. He's agile. He's dangerous when he gets something moving. And when he's under pressure, he leads the NFL in EPA, expected points added per play, at 0.16. He's number 1 in the NFL under pressure. But when he's not under pressure, he's 23rd in the NFL in terms of expected points added in 0.14. So bizarrely, when he's under pressure, he seems to be less effective. If that's the stats, in terms of those stats there. So that's something interesting to think about. I don't know what it means, but he hasn't been sacked since week 5.
It sounds good, Jason.
He does exactly. It sounds good.
I did watch the 40 minutes of the last game they played against the Dolphins, and I thought he played really well. I mean, I think with Kyler Murray is that he's really good at rolling out. He's really good at getting away from sacks. I mean, for a little guy, man, I don't even know how he sees over the offensive linemen. He's practically only about 5'11", but I think he's playing at a really good level, and they seem to be a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team. Like, when you just look through the wins and losses, they seem to be a bit up and down. But they did show a lot of fight when they played against the Dolphins, because they were quite behind in that game for quite a while. They did manage to come back and win it by a point. So they're going to be sort of really, really sort of pleased with themselves, and they're going to be full of confidence, man. I mean, their wide receivers aren't too bad as well, with Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. He's going to be an awesome player, man, over the years. You can just see it. I mean, he's a big, tall dude. He's got, big, long stride, good hands. But the thing about the Arizona Cardinals is I think their defense is the weakest part of their team. So they don't seem to get any pressure on the quarterback. As far as I tell, they've only got 2 sacks. And really, their sort of standout player is Buda Baker with 79 tackles, 24 solo, 31 assists. I mean, he is an absolute beast. He was all over the Dolphins last game. He's a really good player. So I feel like I don't think their defense is as good as Washington's. So it is going to be interesting to see what our offense can do in the game against a lesser defense. But anything more you want to add about their defense or the offense?
No, you're right. I think their offense is the strongest part of their team, isn't it? James O'Connor's the running back. It's 557 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the season. Marvin Harrison Jr. leads the team in 5 receiving catches, and Trey McBride, the tight end, is leading the yardage with 446 yards in terms of receivers. And second-year wideout is the 3rd-round pick, Michael Wilson. He only had 31 yards, but he got a touchdown at the weekend against Miami. Kyler had a decent game, 26 to 36, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, rating of 115. But he did have 5 passes defended. And again, something I look at is that how many passes are defended, because it means that's a potentially the ball being in danger, isn't it? If their quarterback's putting it somewhere where the defenders can get a hand on it, then maybe that's something we can look at and give us hope. But their run offense is 7th best in the NFL. So again, got to stop the ground game. Passing there is 22nd in terms of yardage, but the defense is probably the weakest part of their team in terms of 27th overall in yards per game, and it's 26th each in terms of yardage for pass and run. So they're pretty equally. There's no sort of strong part of their defense, and the other one's rubbish. They're both kind of like definitely lower half in terms of their. Can't name one defensive player. Maybe like Buda Baker, King Booker World is saying he's the one I was looking for as well. I was looking for standouts. There wasn't really anything. They've got a couple of guys on IR. I think Bilal Nichols, who used to be the tackle for the Bears, is there, but he's on IR. There's a few players out for them, so I'm not sure whether they're starters or not. But Brummy Bear and Fachisi said as well, Matty Fachisi said it's a massive must-win. I agree. We've got to win the next 2 games. If we don't go into the fucking Packers game on a 2-game win streak, building confidence, building consistency, then we're going to be in big trouble. So I think we need to have a reaction this weekend, and we need to make a convincing win and just get our shit sorted, get our shit together. Because we're not going to have a good season. There, Carl, Justin Jones, and that's right, that's the other one. And Bilal Nichols both injured and out for the year, so they're sort of probably 2 starters on the interior D line. GB, fuck Green Bay, Shorty, I agree. And Ant Mass. GB gets on the screen, right? So. And just one other thing, mate. Talking about their defense, is that their last game they had 1 sack, 5 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterback hits. So they're not massively strong up front. But
that's exactly what
it's got to be done as a winnable game, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think as well. It's probably a good time to play a team like them on defense because because they're not getting much pressure to the quarterback. So, this like our offensive line's in dire straits of injury and just sheer performance. Then hopefully, playing a team hasn't got a real strong pass rush. So, I mean, one of the worries. I mean, Kyle Murray really worries me just due to how he can get out, he can scramble. Because Jaden Daniels really hurt us on the scrambles, even though he was supposed to have a busted rib. So we don't seem to contain very well the quarterbacks who are good at scrambling, which is I can remember one play, they had the Bears defensive ends completely wide out just to try and contain the guy, you know what I mean? And I think if we can sort of keep him in the pocket, obviously get pressure on Kyler Murray. It'd be great to get pressure like up the middle because it's a short guy, so we can get like Big Cuz Billings and Dexter to try and get some pressure at the middle. That'd be really good against a short quarterback. But yeah, it's like you said, man. This is like got to be a big reaction game. This has got to be fuck what happened against Washington. We're turning a page. We're going to get back on track. We've got to get the offense back. Got to get the offense back in rhythm. Start using. Go back to the fucking no huddle. Just get it. So it's just. And also as well, one thing as well, what I did notice is, do you think that they're asking too much of Caleb to do pre-snap? I think they are at this moment in time. He seems to have to do a lot of fucking shifting, like, checking out, the protection, all that seems to be doing a lot compared to, watching their quarterback and what he had to sort of do with pre-snap. All right, is that just me?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think they said it was. I think I saw an article on Fox Sports today. I was reading about it, and the way they're bringing them along differently, Washington and the Bears. So what's Brummy Bear? There's a couple of comments we kept back to talk about later, wasn't there? But this is one of them. Brummy Bear said that Washington's D spooked Caleb from the start, constantly showing him certain looks pre-snap, and made him kill the original play and basically threw him off any type of rhythm. So I think there was a bit of that. I think they did a good job of throwing it, but I've seen him run it. I've seen him do it. So I don't think there's two ways to do it, isn't there? Like you either use him in gently or you just throw it at him, and that's what we're paying for now. Is that they're just letting him do stuff, and the coaches are obviously assessing him and thinking, actually, we think he's capable of just running it all from the start. So we're just going to let him do everything from the get go, and then we'll see how it goes. And then I think that's why we're going to get games like this weekend when sometimes it doesn't work, but he's still, finding his feet in the NFL. It's only game 7, and the ceiling's sky high in my view. So I think pain today is power tomorrow, isn't it? We got to. Sometimes we have these bad games, and we're going to just get, we're going to have to suck it up when it goes wrong. But ultimately, in the next couple of years.
I just love that comment what you just made, Jason, because that I completely agree, and it's completely against most of the shit I've read on social media over the last sort of 24 hours. People going, get rid of Caleb, start Tyson Bergen, get rid of the coaching, do this, get rid of that, do that. It's one fucking game. And it was a bad game. And it was embarrassing because like the Bears are now being taught, this is all the thing, this is everything what, all the pundits are talking about is that last play. And it's like, it feels like we're the laughing stock at the NFL, which really pisses me off. But
I chatted to Shorty earlier, and it said we just agreed it was like so typically Bears that they had this game where it was billed as Jaden against Caleb, number 1, number 2 picks, and then at the end there we gave them a fucking meme that's going to go around like forever, isn't it? With Tyrique Stevenson and that Hail Mary. It's like that's so Bears. Thanks for that. Just it's absolutely ridiculous, but. Sometimes when you see people on, some of the reason on social media, sometimes when you read it in isolation, you think, I can see your point, but ultimately it's got to fit into the whole situation. All the coaching, all the the season, our season. Go ahead.
No, you got to look at the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Like you can't just suddenly just be knee-jerk reaction because that just doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? And also as well, like we keep saying, the Bears just don't sack the coaches, man. Through the season, so people have got, people have got. I suppose it might just be a matter of how people have this day and age. They expect things to be instant due to technology. I think that's how it works in real life, and it doesn't. And I think really this next month until the end of the season is going to really show what sort of coaching we have. What sort of head coach Eberflus is. Can Waldron get more consistent? Can we get the offense running again like we did do? Was it because we had 2 weeks off? Why did it come out so flat after the bye? Why did we start
the bye week again?
Why are we starting off so slow every fucking game, man. So, I know, I'm not into all this like knee-jerk reaction. I'm into like, let's just see what we're going to do over these next couple of months. Because that'll show you if we should keep the coaches or not. You know, especially after that sort of loss.
I think now as well, in my mind, the way they've built the team, you can almost give them a bit of grace for the first season because we just ripped guts out of the roster, right? So it was terrible. But I think I saw that it was like, I think 4 of our last 10 losses, you know, they give you the predictor, don't they, as the sort of AI does the calculation of who's going to win the game. 4 out of our last 10 losses, we're in the 4th quarter, I think it is, and we're over 90% chance of winning, probability of winning the game, and we've thrown them away. And that to me is on the coaching. So
I do. I completely agree with you.
I don't like that. And that's what I think we need to we need to show that, I think I hate talking about the hot seat stuff, but I think it is the fact that Flus is probably on the hot seat now. This is going to be Poles' toughest decision because I know they've got a good relationship, but ultimately if he's the GM, if we don't see proper improvement as through the finish of this season, we know it's going to be tough, man. But he needs to react to this loss now, and this kind of whole thing that's kicking off with the players in the media, with some of the bad play calling that's now out there forever, like really obvious. So, part of me is now thinking, and this is again just sort of thinking out loud, I guess, is that we relied on Flus because he was the defensive coach, and he's got that defense like awesome now, like we're top 5 definitely, right? So, we've got to now. I think if you could take him out, and if it's the offense that now needs the help, then is maybe if we don't succeed properly at the end of the season, then do you let Eric Washington be DC? You take out the head coach and you bring in someone who's an offensive coordinator as your new head coach to help the coordinator and the offense and everyone else along, because they can give that other mind to help bring that on to where it needs to be. So that's kind of what I'm thinking now. You could take Flus out, and that defense is now built. It's got its culture, it's got its players, it's got its leaders. So, so that's potentially where I see it.
As well, it makes wonder what is Eric Washington doing on game day? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, because obviously even Flus he's called the players, and he just make sure substitutions are going in at the right time and make sure they have the rotation of the D line. Because I know, like, he's a D line guy. Yeah. But so anyway, we'll come to the. Unless you got anything more to say about the Arizona game.
First about the Cardinals, actually. Yeah. So there's also some conversation I can see in the chat about Stevenson.
Right.
Yeah. Whether to bench him, whether to. I think there needs to be some actions, man, because that is not acceptable. Do you know what I mean? That's just ridiculous. I know he's apologised, but I think if you bench him, you're hurting everyone else as well. Because we're already short in the secondary. I know that you can say, he's got to stick to your principles and he's got to be benched for a week. But if you can, I don't know if the NFLPA allows it, but you fine him because that's clearly that's just not acceptable. So fine him, make him sort of get his shit together in the week, and then just play. And then you've got a chance to now go and show us that you're worth your spot on the roster because Terrell Smith is back. So yeah, potentially we've got a cover, but I'm not sure about benching him. I think maybe at least fine him. But he needs to sort himself out for sure. That was really bad. I think what's his name? McLaurin got to him clearly, got under his skin. And I know that Stevenson plays with a bit of fire, doesn't he? He's a prickly, hard hitting guy, but he's got to keep a lid on it. That's sport, that's gamesmanship. Professional athletes are going to try and needle you and get on to make you lose your cool and do stupid stuff like he did, and he fell for it. He's a young guy. It's massive learning for him. So he's got to now not make the same mistake again, and that's what you need to see, which is I think leading back to the coaches is what we're not doing.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bit. I mean, you were like that last year in his rookie year. You were always chirping at players and sort of, getting quite a few sort of 15-yard penalties against him. But the thing as well is he got fucking burnt 65 yards. He got burned on by that long pass by Washington. Don't fucking chirp, man, when you're on your back heels in a game. Just get your head down and try and get better. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you said, Washington players got under his skin and they won that mental battle with him. Completely. Yeah. So nothing more to add about Arizona?
Sorry, one more. Yes. I haven't emptied my notebook. I know, yes. Just the one thing, because we know we're going to be looking to see the injury report, aren't we, about our offensive lines, who's going to be out there. So we need to look again at the what are they going to face on Sunday against the Cardinals. So we know that the defense isn't the greatest, but then Washington's defense wasn't statistically the greatest either. So we need to see, if they can hold up. But what they're going to be facing is, and according to Pro Football Reference, as I checked this afternoon, is that the Cardinals' defense has got 15 sacks, which is the 24th in the NFL. So they're not getting tons and tons of sacks. Their pressure rate and their blitz rate are both at 29th in the NFL. So they're not particularly strong up front. And hopefully that's something that we can deal with. We're not facing the Titans or the Texans or, whoever, like the Packers or whatever. So, and their third down conversions allowed in terms of getting drives, getting the offense off the field. They've allowed 52.1% of third down conversions, which is the worst in the NFL in terms of defense. So that's what we need to exploit. That's a chance. That's a good chance for us. As I say, it's a winnable game. That's why we should be able to, make some corrections, get our offensive line together this week, whoever's available, and try and, get some offense on the go. So, I think that is it.
Is that you when it starts done then?
Yeah.
Well, I completely agree with you on that last point you made. I mean, I think the Bears should be able to run on the Cardinals, really well, just due to their defensive line. And that's one thing. We played terrible on Sunday. We still managed to get a decent rushing attack going with Swift, getting over 100 yards. So we're coming up to the bit of the show that you don't particularly like doing. Jason, is a little bit of a scoreline prediction. I'm going to go for, and I'm expecting a bit of a turnaround by the Bears offense. I'm going to go 27-21 to the Bears.
Ooh, okay.
What are you thinking?
You're bang on the 21, are you? I see what you've done there. 21 or fewer. It's still rolling. Yeah. Okay. Go on. You're gonna force me into make a prediction. So I will say it's going to be 24-17 Bears.
Good call, man. That's a good call, especially with our defense, mate. Yeah, that's a good call, man. So what we'll do is we'll wrap the show up. We just want everybody to chill out a bit, man. I know it was terrible on Sunday, but let's just see how the team form this Sunday coming. If they can turn it around, it was just one game, and it was a horrendous way to lose a game, but it is just one game. The whole fort hasn't fallen apart. You know what I mean? So let's everybody stay a bit positive and hope they can turn it around and get back on track before we start playing the big boys in our division.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we need. We have to go into the Green Bay game on a 2-win streak. That's how I feel, man. This is now, and then we have to at least split the division. And that's what I want minimum. That's like we got to sort this crap out, haven't we? So I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone that joined us in the chat. So King Booker World, Carl on Fire Smile, Brummy Bear, Shorty was there, Ant Mass, Matty for Cheesy, and anyone else. I think Patty Lara was in here earlier as well, just briefly. And just everyone that sort of hopped in, everyone that listens, give us a shout, give us a comment. If you're a British Bears fan, please leave a comment. Tell us where you are. We'd love to have you on the show just to chat some more Bears football with another British fan. Thanks everyone. Thanks Chris. Thanks Foster for producing. Let's just end it there, mate. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll end it there with a big fat bear down. Bear down.
Bear down.